Don't think. Feel. This is like a finger pointing to the moon. Don't concentrate on the finger, or you miss all the heavenly glow. Do you understand?
Good evening, my friends. Good evening, good evening. All right, for this video, I would like to make a response to my buddy Manta Ray's, what is this? Oh, okay. I'm going to make a response to my buddy Manta Ray's video, where he talked about it. He talked about if the language learning is difficult. I think this is a very interesting topic. Before I get into it, I want to I know you guys are wondering, like, you know, why I keep making videos at around this time in the evening in my car. As you know, like, you know, during the day, my wife, she works, and I'm home with the girls majority of the time. So I can't really go anywhere. So when she gets home from work, then I'll go out. I'll make a few runs. And today, I went out and got this Street Fighter / Tekken. Today is the first day release, so I had to do that, and I went to some other places. So I like to change up the environment here and there when I make certain videos. I know people say it's dangerous making videos in my car, but I try to be very careful. I keep my eyes on the road, but I don't like to just make videos in the same environment every time. So that's what it is. That's why I'm doing this. So yeah, back to this topic of if language learning is difficult. I think we have to look at two things here. Now, first, let me say that yes, language learning is difficult if you look at the whole picture. I mean, you have to do the same thing over and over. You have to listen. Just do things repeatedly. You have to stay persistent. You have to, especially when you're at the beginning stages, you have to stay consistent for at least 6 months to a year, depending on what type of language it is. So if you look at all that, yeah, it's difficult. You got so much to do. So no one can really deny that. No one can deny that language learning isn't difficult, because it is difficult if you look at the whole picture of things. However, if you're not really focused on certain things, like not worried about how long it's going to take you to get fluent, how many words you need to get fluent, how many characters or whatever you need to be able to read a newspaper, all this stuff that you see people on forums discussing, then you will find that learning the language, first of all, time will go by because you'll be having so much fun, you know, and you won't even realize the difficulty of the language. And I want to talk about experience that I have for Chinese. I always like to talk about Chinese because this is actually the first language I took seriously as far as study. Back in the day, when I first started learning Chinese, me, Ichimaru, and a couple other people, I wasn't worried about how long it was going to take me to get fluent. I wasn't in a rush. We were just having fun. We enjoyed meeting these Chinese people and speaking with them every day. We weren't really worried about the difficulty of the language, you know. And I think this is what helped. This sped up the process. You know, sure, I had problems with tones, but like overall, the Chinese people understood what I was saying. I was able to communicate with them. I was able to learn a lot in a short period of time. In fact, in 3 months, I was conversational in Chinese. It was like 3 or 4 months, but I was doing it every day, all day. That's all I was really doing. So if you look at all that, you know, you won't even really notice the difficulty. You won't realize how difficult the language is. You won't realize it because you're having too much fun. But when you're aware of certain things, when you're aware of pronunciation, tones, and how you sound, and how long it's going to take you, how many hours you need to study a day to become fluent or whatever, then it's going to kind of hold you back. You're going to be so conscious of this stuff, you know, you're like, oh, I don't know if I'm doing it right. And you know, that's going to affect your process, your learning process. So yes, learning a language is difficult, and it's not difficult if you look at that, you know, what I just explained. If you're unconscious of these things, the language is not difficult. If you're conscious of them, then yeah, it's going to be difficult. You're going to be constantly worried about that stuff. You see, don't think, feel. Don't think, feel. That's why I love Bruce Lee, because this stuff applies to that quote itself applies to a lot of things in life, and it applies very well to language learning. People focus on too much of this stuff, and that's holding them back instead of having fun. So, like, I didn't start really getting into. I'm very conscious of certain things still, but I still when I first started on the language, I still just feel. I don't really worry about too much, but I am conscious, a little bit more conscious than I used to be ever since I became a part of this community, this language community, and these forums and stuff, and I've improved. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that these discussions over in these forums is bad. I'm not saying that these discussions are bad. It's just that it's the truth. When you're conscious of certain things, you scared. You don't want to make mistakes, and you just too worried about certain things, and it's going to hold you back. So overall, I think that the community is being partaking in those forums. They're very helpful because it makes you observe your own achievements or what you've achieved over the years, and to see if you need to improve on anything. And that's how I improve. A lot of the stuff in the community is brought up. I made a lot of observations on my own language, on my language learning, and I said, what, I need to improve. I need to really take it to another level, and that's what I've done. So it's good to have these type of discussions, but then again, I think that if someone goes without partaking in these discussions, especially at the beginning, they probably won't notice if they're making all these mistakes or whatever. And they're not, if they're doing this and they're making mistakes, they're not going to worry about it, and they're going to learn a language rapidly. They're going to learn language rapidly. So that's what I think. So yep, language learning is difficult, and it's not difficult. If you look at both sides. If you're a conscious person, then yeah, it's going to be tough. If you're not worried about stuff, you're just getting out there having fun, then it's not going to be hard. Because when you're having fun, like I said, when you're having fun doing things, that time goes by too fast, too fast. So what do you guys think? I think this is a very interesting discussion. I'm glad Manta Ray brought this up, because we all need to look at this, and we need to look at this and try to see why people are making such slow progress, and look at the people who are making slow progress and the people who are making fast progress. And if you look at it, a lot of people who are making fast progress or slow progress, they're too worried. And they see, like I said, they see a lot of people getting criticized, especially on the internet, YouTube, and these forums, and they don't want to be in that situation. So, hey, that's how it is. So that's it. I'm going to conclude this video. I'm home now, and as you guys can see, I just pulled up in the garage. Let me know what you guys think. I'm going to post Mr. Manta Ray's video in the description area. Or not his video, but his article he wrote. And then, yeah, make a video response. Let us know what you guys think about this topic. Language learning being difficult. And, hey, thanks for viewing, and look forward to any comments or video responses.